Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, buyers held ES above that 35.75 support and then holding above the 40.41 high volume node also confirmed that short-term buyers were more dominant, and we ended up getting a push up towards that 51 resistance. So at this point heading into the day, we're using 51 to 53 as pre-market resistance, and we're going to be watching this zone to see whether ES is really able to hold above it or whether it continues struggling at this zone. So far in the overnight session, buyers have been dominant up towards the 51.53, but that doesn't mean that the buying has to necessarily continue and head all the way back up towards the breakdown spot at 55.5, 57.5 or higher. So right now, the markets are at resistance, and we have to be cautious entering long setups at these really aggressive prices. Because there could just be continued balancing now, and the upside potential at this point doesn't seem very high. So we're going to see how the market reacts to 51.53. If it continues to struggle, then we could get a pullback towards 43.75 to 45.75 and 38.5 to 40.5, with potential, if the sellers really step in, to test 33.75 to 35.75. That would be quite an extension on the downside. Right now, the buy side is dominant, so that's something we have to keep in mind. So above 51.53, we have that breakdown spot, 55.5, 57.5, and that's a spot where sellers can still be active. Above it, we have the high volume node, 59.5. That's basically the start of the big liquidation move we saw the other day. So that's still a level that can attract sellers. And then finally, 62.5 to 64.5 is an area that could cap the upside, even in the event of some pretty strong buying on the day time frame. So off the open, the focus is really going to be whether the market can hold above 51 to 53, and we're going to keep an eye on that zone. But even if we hold it, I'm going to be careful on the long side, because the reward potential at this point doesn't seem that huge. Like 55.5 to 57.5 can still attract sellers, so we could get some rotational activity over there. And the high volume node, 59.5, can still attract sellers. So for that reason, to take long setups, I'd rather buy pullbacks into support rather than a breakout over here at 53, because it's very easy for the market to pull back from here. So the risk reward just doesn't really make sense. I'd have to use a much wider stop as well to get on board, and so the reward to risk is simply not there for me on the long side. But I will consider shorting the market at some of these higher prices. But I'm going to have to gauge the momentum situation in real time. Like yesterday, we had some massive upside tick readings, and if that upside momentum continues, then we may just have to step aside and kind of let that buying flush out, or just focus on getting really good trade location, which would be towards the top of the resistance zones. So those are really the main ideas. Overall, expecting more of a balanced type session after such a big move lower and then such a big reversal. I don't think that we're just going to go purely directional to the upside. I think that we will find sellers along the way. So even if this market is now bullish and heading higher, and short term we know that the buy side is dominant, even if we're going to head higher up to 59.5 or 62.5 to 64.5, I don't think that it's going to be a straight line type move. It's probably going to be very rotational, and it's going to struggle kind of along the way. And those are the spots that could still offer short setups where we can get in with a 2 or 2.5 point stop and target 4 to 5 points on the rotation, maybe more. But right now above 51 to 53, the buy side is being more dominant. So we're just going to be a bit more careful on the short side and just let this buying kind of flush out, and then we'll try to spot some areas where we can get on board for some rotational type setups, some pullback setups, and then at the same time pullbacks into support can still provide some really nice longs. So in the event that we do pull back towards 43.75 to 45.75 or 38.5 to 40.5, first test of those zones can still provide some nice rotational trades and tradable reactions on the upside as well. So those are the main thoughts heading into the day. Let's see how the market deals with 51 to 53. Looking at the other markets, NQ has resistance around 4012 to 4014, and if I can't cross that hurdle, then again it would tell us that the sell side could be more active from this point on, and that's why we're just going to kind of monitor this area, and once we start seeing some selling, some momentum come in, then we can perhaps start shorting some pops. But we do want to let this buying kind of get out of the way, clear. So on NQ, watch 4012 to 4014, and on TF, if we're holding above 1100, 1101, the next resistance spots are 1106 to 1107, and then we have some stronger resistance in TF around the 1111 to 1112 area. So those are our main ideas. Let's see whether sellers can step in here. Let's see how well the buy side holds up, and we'll take it from there.